All right, welcome to this episode of the Road Hunter Podcast, where we are out again in nature.
Yes.
Yeah. Took a little drive this evening into the world of ticks.
Yeah. Lots of
I
ticks.
feel like we're going to get a tick today.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's tick season.
It is tick season. You got to be careful walking through the woods right now.
You don't need a tick on your ass.
That would definitely be an uncomfortable place.
Yeah.
I can think of a couple more uncomfortable places, but that is definitely one that I would not want to have to deal with. So, let's talk about being out in nature this week. You and your sister and Wyatt went down the coast.
Yes.
Did you find some good spots that might look appealing for some fishing?
Handful.
Nice. I really want to get out at Haystack in Pacific City and do a little kayak fishing out there and see if we can get some sea bass and lingcod.
Someone was out there dory fishing.
That'd be fun. We have a boat we could turn into a dory boat.
We do.
We do. And that'd be fun.
That would be fun.
We need to get like one of those 90 horsepower dealy bobs for the back.
Yeah.
It's like hammer down on them waves.
We could.
We could.
We might have to build the sides up a bit.
Yeah.
But we could.
We could. We should ponder that.
We should.
Yep. So I've been
put a floor in yet.
Yeah. You need to get on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got your quad running pretty good.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah. It was wing dinging when I got the video from Wyatt. You were felt like power.
Yeah. It does rolling burnouts.
Yeah, love it. Can't wait to get that out in the woods. Well,
it needs
on the
some
trails.
Things. It needs some things.
The TLC on the brakes and the shocks.
Well, it needs brakes.
Yeah, stopping is important.
It only has the back ones, but when you press the back thing, they'll just lock up and you're skidding.
Yeah. So that doesn't sound fun.
No.
I went fishing on Friday. Didn't film it. I was just with your mama. And we went to... Where did we go? We went to the Willamette River. And I actually got in the Willamette River. It's not my favorite. It's kind of...
Slimy.
A little ew.
Yeah.
But I did a little wading. Got out on the little gravel bar and worked my way down. Didn't catch anything. To be fair, though, terrible spot.
Yeah.
Bunch of families swimming. Bunch of kids throwing rocks. Like, I was casting practice.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was still fun. Good and relaxing. Yeah. Tried my new setup.
That's good.
Yeah. I set up a drop shot 2 nymph fly rig. Didn't work very well. I didn't even put enough weight on my drop shot.
Yeah.
And the current in the Willamette was like, it was going.
Yeah.
So that didn't work well. But then I got one of those clear bobber guys, and then I dropped down a nymph, like a beaded nymph, to kind of get it down.
Yeah.
I hit the seams pretty good, and still didn't get anything. I think that's because the kids and the rocks.
Probably.
Yeah. The dogs barking, all that.
And the meth river.
Yeah, the fish don't like the meth river for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So I thought today we'd talk a little bit about that, fishing.
Okay.
I'm thinking, I'm trying out this new thing using the OnX maps and Google Earth to find fishing spots. So I thought we would run through that today. I'm gonna share a picture. Oh, this is really bad because you can't see it worth beans. But I think we can still kind of get what I'm trying to get out of here. So when I'm looking for a fishing spot, doing the eScouting, right? Because we do a lot of OnX maps.
Yeah.
With being out in the woods. And we're looking for very specific things. We're looking for benches. We're looking for transition areas. We're looking for saddles.
Yes.
And the holy grail is the saddle that leads into a clear cut and has a good transition area.
Yes.
Like big timber through that saddle.
Yeah.
Into
a clear cut.
With water.
With And reprod.
I dream about these things.
Yeah.
Yep.
And tall grass.
And all of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Food, shelter, hiding. Yeah. But I started down the Willamette River here in Oregon, and I was thinking, I'm going to look at all the parks. Anywhere there's a park that I can go park at.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to look at that stretch of water, and I'm going to look for two things. I'm going to look for a seam.
Right.
And I'm going to look for a pool.
Yeah.
Well, not a pool, like a what is it? It's not a trough. I guess it could be a trough. A pocket of water.
Yeah.
Right? Like anywhere where like you hit a rock and then on the other side you get a little pool. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the pools.
Yeah.
Like the pockets of water or the seams. And so I took Google Earth and I took OnX Maps and I brought it all the way in to where we would normally fish. And I'm guessing that this is going to really depend on the kind of fish you're going for. So what we're looking for is a seam. Could you tell me what you think a seam is?
Okay.
Just,
yeah.
If you were looking for a seam in a river, what does that seam look like?
Well, is the seam basically where it's got that, like, it's got the fast, but over here to the side, it's got that slow moving water that's not going very fast, but in the middle, it's ripping.
That could be, yeah. So that would be one seam. So you got two different currents, right? You got one that's slower moving and one that's faster moving. Another seam could be shallow to deep.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're going to have two different speeds. And that's like, it's going to be maybe not different speeds, but you're going to have like different water temperatures and everything as you, the deeper you go, the colder it's going to be. So you're going to have warmer water up on the shore. You have cooler water kind of in the deeper areas.
Yeah.
So, and so when you're looking at OnX Map, I don't know if you can see this very well. I'm going to move this towards you.
Oh, there we go.
Like that?
Yeah.
So if you were going to mark out a seam, where would your seam be? And then here's me, right?
Right.
So where would your seam be?
If I remember the Willamette River, that right there is ripping. So I'd assume you'd probably be right here as your seam.
So this right here is shallower.
Yeah.
Right? So if you look at the edges of these guys, so you have this shallow area here. Hold on, I'm gonna get rid of this bee or fly that's on my hand. You got the shallower area seam right here.
Yep.
And then it kind of branches off, so you get this little Y. And then it comes all the way back. So this, because I was actually here the other night.
Yeah.
This is actually a shallow riffle.
Oh.
Right? And then over to the left over here, on the left side of that shallow riffle, it's about 3 to 4 foot deep. Right? But what I found was, because I was trying to throw my bobber guy right on this seam and let it drift.
Yeah.
But the currents in here were like swirling and moving.
Yeah.
And so as soon as I threw it over here, it would just kind of like get all weird and tangly. Right?
Yeah.
So that seam didn't work out like I thought it would. Plus, when I got far enough out here to really get it next to this faster moving water, man, I was like up to my belly button and it wasn't comfortable. So it like dropped off really bad right there. But if you go up a little bit, there's this other seam, right? Like right up here is a shallow spot. And then this longer bench guy. You just drank my Dr. Pepper, dude. Wow. You were going to sneak that. You're going to be like, I took a drink of Dad's.
No, I meant to grab that, but Ed grabbed the Dr. Pepper instead.
So I moved down from here because this wasn't working very well. And the nice thing is this seam right here was a little bit slower, right? And all the current was moving in the same direction. So there wasn't swirling.
Right.
So I could get my bobber out there and get a really nice drift.
Yeah.
Along, because there's two seams here, right? There's one on the right-hand side over here.
Yeah.
Hold on. This might do it. Let's get us a let's get us a look at this guy. All right, so I'm gonna take my pen. Oop, yeah, let's do that one, and we're gonna go right here, and so right along here, and right along here. So those seams, I was trying to float right on this outsides, like right on this one, and then right on this one.
Yep.
And I would let it drift all the way to the tail out where the two comes together into like a triangle.
Yeah.
Dude, I think that would have worked really well, except I had a bunch of families over here throwing rocks in my way.
Yeah.
Which kind of really messed me up. So that's that one. Let's look at a different one. Let's go down the river a little bit. All right.
Oh, hey, that's that bend.
Yeah. So, cool thing about this bend is there's a lot of different stuff going on here. And I'm trying to
see it, but it's hard to
it's
see.
really hard to see in this light. But if we look right, so let's get our little guy again.
Oh no. It disappeared.
All right. So if we look at this again, and we can look at, we have some faster water. We've got some faster water.
That hay's looking good.
Right there. And right there. Right, so you got a couple of seams. We got this one in here.
Yep.
This is going to be harder to get to. You're going to have to like float to it. So you have to be in a boat and then like drop in the top and let your bobber move down that seam.
Yeah.
Or on this side, move down this seam, right?
Right.
The other one is you can kind of see in here, we've got shallow to deep.
Right.
And I think we got another spot. Got another spot right here. It's kind of more shallow. Right. So I would think like getting your bait down these seams right here would be good too.
Yeah.
So what I would thinking is if we went down the Willamette and we hit all the little parks.
Yeah.
It'd be really cool to float the whole thing, but put pins on our OnX down the Willamette so we could just like float to them and like hit the spots we think are pretty good.
Yeah.
But this was what I was thinking Willamette River wise, kind of where we are. If we work our way down and we just figure out where we can park and get access to.
Yeah.
And then if we can look at the map, we can kind of plan out what are those better opportunities. Because, we've gone a lot to the Willamette.
Yeah.
And we just
cast
and it sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Most of the time it doesn't.
Right.
I think this would be more strategic, right? If we could look at where those seams are, then we can really find a more higher probability place to catch fish.
Right.
It is theory, right? But if you take this, because I showed you in the last one, is this place I've actually been to, and you can see on this map the seams that I was actually fishing.
Yeah.
Right? Was that one that little kind of pocket on the inside with the seams on both sides.
Yeah.
And then that other one that sort of comes out off the bank and they both move together.
Right.
So you can kind of already find your seams via Google Earth and either OnX Maps. This is OnX Maps, but I got a couple here that are for Google Earth. This is going to be the Silettes, right? And I thought this was really cool because this is actually, so this rocky area here was taken, I'm guessing, in the summertime when the water was lower.
Probably.
So this is the actual river right here. But what I thought was cool is you could, let me get my little tool again, have this really cool pen thing, but it is not working. But you could put some pins. So if you have OnX Maps, you could go here and be like, okay, I've got a seam right here. And how do I know this is going to be a seam? Because you can already see there's a pool of water around it, right?
Yep.
And then you've got this shallower area right here.
Yeah.
So I could already mark out, like, if this was a little park that I could get access to, I could walk down to this beach, and if this is a gravel bar and I have my waders, I could work my way right down this little gravel bar, and I can start pitching my jigs or my baits or whatever it is right along these seams right here.
Yeah.
And likely target some fish.
Yeah.
This particular stretch is a really good stretch for steelhead. So if we're gonna say we take the drift boat,
yeah,
and we could already look at here, right? And on our OnX maps, we can say, okay, this is a seam right here. So I'm gonna drop a pin right in this hole, and I'm gonna drop a pin right in this hole, and then as I work my way down, I can look at my OnX and be like, all right, I got a pin and a pin. I need to drop my bait on either side of this little thing, right? So this would be a really great way to take a river we know has steelhead in it, that we know has trout in it,
right,
and that we know is super low because of summertime right now. So this wouldn't be a really great place to go fish today because summertime levels in this river are terrible, right? Like you can already see it. Like this is terrible. But I mean, if we look at, again, I got another one here. I think I got another one here. Yeah. So same thing. We've got this more shallow areas, right? And then we've got this area. So we would know, like if we dropped a pin on our OnX, we could say, here's a seam, right?
Yeah.
And then here's a seam. So if we're going to throw our jigs, right, we could probably get some stuff in here because you can see some rocks. So we've probably got some good pocket water below these guys.
Right.
So we could drop our jigs in here. We can look at these rocks right here. We probably got a good seam and pocket here. And then we're going to have one here, right?
Right.
So now we've got some areas that we can target. We could say, okay, I'm going to drop a pin here, and then I'm going to drop a pin here, and then I'm going to work my jigs down on these rocks, and then I'm going to work my jigs along these seams, right?
Right.
So really cool tool. I'm really kind of working out the kinks and trying this out. This river right here, I'm not going to be able to go to this year, right? In the summer, I'm going to have to wait till fall for us to go. But before we go, if we pull this up and we just like work our way down the river from where we know we can park, even up the river, right? What I did notice was OnX Map did not do a good job with their satellite images on this particular river. It was super dark because there's trees on both sides.
Yeah.
And so as the camera came down, it caught most of the shadow. So you couldn't really see the pockets or you couldn't see the seams. Yeah. So when I pulled up Google Earth, this is Google Earth, I was able to see it better. But it does show it super shallow though.
Right.
Which is really cool though. If you can see a shallow river, you can really understand and have your pins on where potential good fishing is.
Right.
Another really cool one is that I've been to in the past. Let's take a look at this guy right here. This one's really hard to see. Let me get the other one.
That one.
Yeah. All right. So this one. Oh, that wasn't it either. Sorry, everybody. Maybe it's this one.
Is that? That is. Yeah. I think that's the one. Because that's the...
All right. So we got a little river coming in here, right?
Yep.
So we're going to have some pocket water along this little bank right here because we've got a creek coming in. So it's going to kind of create a different spot. But what I was really thinking was this little island right here, right? You're going to have on both sides of this island. So if the current is headed this way, hold on.
one side's a lot shallower than the other.
Yeah, you can already see it, right?
Yeah.
Like as we come back into the water, this side is shallower, so you're gonna have a seam on both sides. And fish are super lazy, right? Like they're not gonna sit in the fastest water and dispense so many calories sitting there.
Yeah.
They're gonna sit in the slower water, and they're gonna wait for food to pass by,
Right.
And then they're just gonna take from where they are and pop out and grab it, and then get back in the slower water. Right? Because the more calories they spend getting food, the more food they have to eat. So they're really going to sit there in those more slow moving pockets.
Yeah.
Slow moving, deeper waters. And they're going to either come up, right?
Right.
Or they're going to go to the side, right? Like they're going to be in the slower moving of the fast water, and they're going to wait for the food to hit the really fast water, and they're just going to pop out and grab it.
Right.
Right. And then if we look at the other side of this island, similarly, you're going to run into the same thing, right? Like it's going to come to some sort of, like T, and then you're going to have pocket water on both sides, and maybe even really far out, right? Like it's going to come and make a really good V.
Right.
Because you're going to have this side coming in, and you're going to have this side coming in, and then they're going to crash into each other.
Right.
And so that little pocket, that V right there, they're going to sit in that pocket water, and then they're going to like pop out into that faster moving water and get their food.
Right.
So if we can target these sections, we're going to really increase our odds of catching fish.
Right.
Theoretically. But I think this is a good way that we can plan for our next fishing, right? I think we could do this on the coast too, right? Like if we take these same Google Earth and OnX maps and we hit the coastal side,
yeah,
because it looks through the water really, and you can kind of see the darker areas, and we can pin where those pools are,
right,
versus the shallow beach,
yeah,
and then we can target into those pools and see if we can catch the surf perch right there.
Yeah.
So I think that would be super helpful too. I wish I would have grabbed some maps of the beach to see if that, like how good those work. But I think they're going to work great because really, I mean, this thing is looking all the way through and it's capturing the bottom too.
Yeah.
Really cool thing is last year, Detroit. When we went to Detroit, I did the same thing, and you can overlay a topo map on top of the mountains surrounding Detroit Lake.
Yeah.
And it'll show you the contour of underneath.
Yeah.
So you can find the really deep parts versus the really shallow parts. And even you can target where like the sides come in and they go like this, right? And so they're going to come in and create that V along the bottom. So you can really capture that transitional place between the water coming in from the cove. And then you can see how far those little peninsulas come out and like really target those edges.
Right.
So this does actually work in lakes too. You just want to overlay a topo map so you can see the contour of the mountains as they go into the water.
Right. And get some information from a guide.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is how you figure out where to find fish, right?
Right.
Like you do it one of two ways. You float the river and you hit every hole there is.
Yeah.
And you try to find the fish. But that away doesn't tell you, I think that's sort of a long way to go.
Yeah.
Because I think you can just target, and this is going to look different too, because there's a third seam that you can get, right? There's the transition from shallow to deep. There's the seams as like water goes around something.
Yep.
Right. And then there's where the current changes.
Yep.
And what I was noticing when I was out on the Willamette River is the current way out in the middle. It's just sort of like moving around in like a little swirly situation. Right?
Yeah.
There's no clear line.
Right.
There's no foam, right? Foam is home. Foam is where the fish are.
Yeah.
Well, that's like foam tells you where those seams are. So if you're looking out in the Willamette, or you're looking out in the McKinsey, or you're looking out whatever rivers in your area, and you look out there and you're seeing like this line of bubbles, like line of foam.
Yeah.
That's probably a seam right there. And it's where the current is like pushing the water in a different way, like making that foaminess.
Right.
So like that's what you're looking for, is you're not just looking for where things are like crashing into something and moving around. You're really like look at the water and look at those natural like differences in how the water's moving. And if you can catch this water going faster and this one going slower, or they call it the eddy, right? The little swirly guy, where the food will kind of move in a circle.
Yeah.
Those are pretty good. I've never had a lot of luck with the eddies because my drift gets all messed up because my line kind of like flows. So I've got some hits in those areas, but I haven't really converted.
Right.
But what do you think?
We should try it.
I already tried it.
Well,
I got skunked, but
we should go to the Silettes and try it.
we should. Yeah. Or another river with more water. I was thinking the McKinsey down in Eugene.
Yeah.
Because we went over that the other day and it still had a lot of water. Like, there's a couple of parks that we can get out and still get wade out into and get. I think we should try there. That would be really good.
Yeah.
Maybe some parts of that Silettes where it's moving faster.
Yeah.
Where we can actually get out and really target some of these seams. But yeah, how about all of you? Have you tried this method? Hit us up in the comments and let us know if you found it successful or not, or how do you prepare to go out into the wild and try to catch fish? Fishing, unlike hunting, is like we're sitting here on this super awesome clear cut to our right. And we could just sit here with our binos and we're looking and we're like, we're either going to see deer or elk or we're not.
Right.
Fishing, I can't look inside the water. So there could be fish there and I just have no idea. I'm throwing the wrong bait. I'm throwing the wrong lure. I'm throwing the wrong jig.
Or it's the wrong time of day.
Yeah, wrong time of day. And there's just no... Oh, hold on.
I was going to be like, we're not cambered.
We aren't Cameron. Here we go. Right over here is a really awesome clear cut. You can kind of see it sort of behind me over here. It's kind of down in this little area. But we can look over here with our binos and see a deer, right? Man, it takes a lot more
knowledge
like
of the fisher. Yeah,
it takes a lot more knowledge about what they eat, when they eat, how they eat, where they eat. Because I'm guessing, like deer and every other animal, they spend the majority of their time eating so they can live.
Right.
So, to be good fisher people, we need to make sure that we understand how that food gets to them. Kind of into fly fishing right now. Not necessarily with a fly rod. I really want to get my fly rod out again and go. We went the other night, and hopefully you've seen that video if you're watching. But I really want to get out, and what I've been using is a little spinning rod with a clear bobber and 2 nymphs dropped off the bottom.
Yeah.
Seems to work pretty well. Or that drop shot rig where I've got the weight on the bottom, come up, and I tied it a lot like I did the surf perch fish.
Yeah.
I tied the little dropper loop off like a foot up and then another foot up. That way as the weight drags across the bottom, I've got flies kind of hanging out in different parts of the water column.
Oh, I thought you just did the one where you had like the normal fly and then you tied the nymph line to the end of the hook on the fly and you nymphed it and No,
I did it like the surf perch where I got the weight on the bottom and the 2 dropper loops above.
Oh.
It worked out pretty good. Like the one thing that I really liked about it is it didn't ever get tangled up.
Oh, that's good.
And when I flipped it out and it landed, like as the weight dropped, the current would take the nymphs and like hold them there, just like floating in the water. So I think it's going to be a good strategy. I just got to get bigger weights.
Yeah.
Because 1/8 ounce was not enough for the Willamette. Now, I think some of these smaller creeks and stuff, that little 1/8 ounce would just...
Yeah.
I'd really like to go back to where we were fly fishing. And you know that one where it had that little waterfall that hit that pool?
Yeah.
I'd really like to drop some of those nymphs right down into that little pool.
Yeah.
I think that would work out pretty well.
Also, if you were on the limit, you should use the longer rod.
Yeah. I still got it way out there. I mean, I had probably a 50-foot cast or whatever. That's enough. And plus, if I would have caught one of those like little perch or bass or whatever,
Yeah.
that'd have been a good little fight. So, all right. Well, fishing. Get out and go fishing. It's that time of year. Summertime. The weather's nice. The stocking schedule's done, so ponds are kind of
Yeah. Gotta get out on lakes.
Yeah, you gotta get on the lakes, the rivers, the creeks, and see if you can slay some fish. All right. What else should we be talking about?
I got nothing.
You got nothing.
I got nothing.
All right. Well,
I mean, what do we got here on time?
oh, I don't know. I've been at like 20 minutes or so.
All right, yeah.
30 minutes. So we're almost ready to wrap it up. I do want to say one thing before we go. It is fishing season.
Yeah.
It is prime time trout. Get out in the high country. I would really like to this summer. Maybe at the end of the summer, head on up to like one of those high lakes, camp for the night.
Yeah.
Get eat by bugs. But get out with a kayak on one of those and see if we can get some of those high lake trout. Right?
Yeah.
I think that would be fun.
We should also go to that Mount Hood one. We got to walk 14 miles.
No.
But yeah, we should.
No. I'm not doing a 14-mile hike in 100-degree weather. Like, you're out of your dang mind.
In September?
You are
at the end of September?
Of your mind.
Fine, I'll do it.
Yeah, you and your buddies go do that. I'd ask you to film it, but he's gone out like 3 times to get footage and hasn't come back with nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to think about getting it on video.
Hey, we got that fish on video.
We did actually. We've caught, as a group, we have caught one fish this summer.
Yeah.
And we're here talking to you about how to go fishing. To be fair, though, we've gone in ponds. I'm not really a pond fisher.
No,
I don't.
It's boring.
It is boring. It is boring, and the trout don't taste very good.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go like stick a trout in the face just to stick a trout in the face.
Yeah.
So I'd rather go somewhere where I can eat them.
Yeah.
I still want to get out to Detroit. I think if we get out to Detroit, like, we'll get some fish.
And the boat doesn't sink. And it's not snowing.
Nah, I mean, you did go to Detroit, but there were some problems. I get you.
Yeah, that's why we didn't film. It was snowing and the boat was sinking.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. But yeah, I think we could hit some. Like, I think if we did a little 4-wheel driving.
Snowing in June. That's what I want to know. Is why was it snowing in June?
I think it was hail, to be honest with you, because it's 60-some degrees. It's not going to snow.
But like a day later, it said that it got a bunch of snow on the pass.
Lies.
I mean,
lies.
It could be like that time it snowed in Death Valley.
Lies.
Wasn't snow.
So we need to get out and do some get the Jeep out in the woods. Actually, we gotta fix the Jeep, but we gotta get the Jeep out in the woods. Hit some of those high lakes this summer.
Yeah. Maybe get another quad and make some quad videos.
Yeah, we do need to make some quad videos. We have one quad. We can still make quad videos.
I know. But we can make 4-person quad videos or 5-person quad videos. Or
that's true.
6-person quad.
Someone does have to watch the gas of the truck, though. So I guess that'll be me.
Or Nicole.
Yeah, it's true.
With her book.
She doesn't like nature.
Yeah, she doesn't like things that go fast.
True. So yeah, let's do that. You have work, so that's gonna be challenging for you.
Yeah.
But maybe your mom and I'll go, and then send you pictures.
Yeah.
Sucker, working man.
And then I'll send you pictures of the tractor.
It's true. That's true. And the paycheck that you get to spend because you don't have bills.
Yep.
Cool.
Because I'm poor.
Because you're poor. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. Get out, go fishing. We have paused the coffee on the website, so if you haven't tried it, you're kind of SOL.
Yeah.
Yeah. For at least now, because tariffs they've got the price of coffee
all jacked up.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It needs to go. Needs to go back down.
That's right. So we'll probably get a little bit and make it in small batches and have it here and there. But But give us a minute. for some coffee. You got to wait for the prices to get less hectic, so we don't have you spending a ton more money than you need to on your caffeine addiction.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, get out in the woods, get out on the lake, get out on the river. Don't sit at home on your butt.
Yeah, because fishing is a great addiction.
That's right. Absolutely. All right, everybody. See you in the next video.